What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Glad to see you guys up in here. We're about to get lit in here. God, dog, the whole crew's in here. What's up, XR Coon? What's up, Mike Porter? It's good to see you guys in here. Dan the Man and Rogue Soul. What's going on, y'all? I'm gonna get started here in just a second. What is going on, man? Tell me in the chat. I'm getting some things organized over here on this side. But tell me in the chat, how y'all's day been going, man? Down here in Virginia, it's been a beautiful day. Can't complain. You said my audio is low. Let me turn this thing up here a little bit. How is that? Is that better? You gotta let me know, man. You gotta let me know. I'm new to this, man. New to this, but getting true to this, man. But yeah, let me know how you all's day has been, man. I'm down here in Virginia. It was a beautiful day down here. Uh, can't complain. Got out and got some things done. But how was you all's day in the chat? What's up, Mike Porter? How you doing, man? What's up, XR Coon? Glad to see all of you all here. I'm about to just drop a few share links in here while we getting things going. I'm not all the way fancy yet. Uh, it do be, yeah, man. I'm doing good, XR Coon. I'm doing good, man. Hey, so I'm just getting some of these sharing technicalities out of here, trying to promote the stream and everything like that. Um, but yeah, glad you guys are in here. We're gonna get into this Falcon and Winter Soldier chat. Uh, dude, it was crazy. I'm still really like, how do I put this? I'm trying to sell it. I'm trying to tell folks about it, and it's like you just gotta see it. So every time I show somebody the trailer, they just keep getting sucked into it. So I say yeah, it's definitely going to be popping. The first episode is popping. I'm looking forward to the definitely looking forward to the rest of the season and the rest of these 5 episodes here. All right, I'm just going to share it in this group real quick. Man, so Mike, XR Coon, tell me how you guys are doing, man. I don't want to just talk about me, man. How you doing, Mike, man? The original OG. How you doing in here, man? You doing great. That's what's up. That's what's up. Hey, that's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, XR Coon, man. Like, I really appreciate the support, dude. Um, for sure come back, catch the rest whenever you can, dude. There's no problem. Dude, thank you for just dropping in and giving me this view here, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, man. So let's just go ahead and get let's just go ahead and get right into it here. So let's just go ahead and get right into it here. Look. So we're talking about the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Before I get into my breakdown and what I think about certain theories and everything coming in that way, look, I love the first episode because to me it does what a first episode is supposed to do. Even if we did, so check this. Even if we didn't get that opening scene with the even if we didn't get that opening scene with Sam doing all of that high tech work, doing all those high flying stunts with those helicopters, I still would love the setup of this episode because this really gives us a view of what's to come for the rest of the series, setting up your villain, setting up your protagonist, letting us know what's been happening since for the last 2 months since the snap has happened. It's letting us know what's been happening with Sam and Bucky. So check this something interesting too before we get into it. You know, Sam Sam alludes to it that it's been a few months since folks snapped away, and I think that's kind of interesting to see. Okay, so we may be about maybe a month or two removed from WandaVision. So WandaVision is something that people are aware of. The world is getting crazy. So when you look at it in the perspective of this, 3 weeks after everybody came back, Wanda did what she did with the hex and everything blew up that way. Thousands of people were put under a spell of a superhuman. And then when we look at uh, what we have now in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and the Flag Smashers, if there was a group like the Flag Smashers that was pushing for what they were pushing for then, before WandaVision, I imagine that WandaVision did nothing but up the ante for them to take over and do what they did there. And I just think it's kind of interesting to look at the whole world impact. But yeah, anyway, like I'm saying, raw reaction on the first episode was dope. Love the action. Love, like I said, the setting up of things. I love seeing Sam's family. Also getting to see Don Cheadle, man. Don Cheadle, I'm a huge Don Cheadle fan. Getting to see Rhodey in there. That was a dope cameo to see in there in the first episode. Like, who knew we get a cameo in the first episode, man? That was dope. But look, I'm not gonna hold you guys any longer. Let's go ahead and uh, get into the breakdown of this episode. So I'm gonna break this down into parts here. Really, just what I think are some of the key points that came out of this episode, especially going forward into the next few of them. So the point one, we see this from Rip that the premise of the episode is to establish. I mean, premise of this series really is to establish Sam as Cap. That is something that I think Kevin Feige, the directors, everybody is going to go into this show. The producers go into this show thinking that we need to make Cap we need to make Sam earn that shield as Cap in this series. Prime example, this scene right here. It's the first scene of the episode. This is he's looking at the shield, hearing Steve's words over the video, and let's just be real. That's establishing. That's letting us know that this shield is real. Even though we're going to cut to another scene to give us some action to bring us into it, this shield, don't forget about it. Don't forget about how he got it. This is the premise of the episode is to show you that Cap that Sam has a shield and he's going to be working to prove his I feel worthiness of it as we go forward. All right, here. Uh, Give me 1 second, fellas. First, I'm having a little bit of an issue with my little hotkeys on my slideshow. I see. All right. See, one thing I just learned on this, you have to set your hotkeys to be able to um, cool. You had to set your hotkeys in order to be able to work the slideshow in the middle of your stream, which is ridiculous. I hadn't like you would think it would just come with it, but it is what it is. Let's see if this got it done here. Hotkeys activate. Nothing. Hmm. Come on, guys. I took the time to set up this slideshow and it's not moving for me. Hold on, one more time. Weird this thing one more time. Hotkeys. Boom, boom, boom. Left, right. Cool. All right. You know what? Forget it. I am going to drag and drop in here. We're going to get this thing popping this way because I'm not going to have too much dead space on my stream today. I learned my lesson from that before. So, so yeah, we see that. I feel like this is really trying to prove that we're going to see Sam earn his stripes in this series. So we're going to see Sam come out of here as Captain America, um, and that is really the main premise of this. So we get to see that in the scene, and then another proof of this is getting to see my homie GSP as Batroc the Leaper here. Let me down this down a little bit. So we get to see our homie Batroc the Leaper pop up in. And dude, it was epic to see Sam get into his thing with Batroc. So let's take a trip down memory lane when Captain America was fighting Batroc. I'm not saying that Captain America struggled with him. I think he was being a little modest, but Batroc showed his skills when he was fighting Captain America. Fighting someone with the super soldier serum, being able to get in the hits that he did, and being able to deliver and being able to take the hits that he did from Cap shows a lot from just his capability as a fighter. So when we see him fighting Sam, and we see Sam holding his own, we see Sam hitting him with that super kick, kind of pushing him back. Sam is doing his thing. So that's, I think, another establishing thing that, hey, Sam has gained the hand-to-hand combat capabilities to be able to duke it out with the best of them. Another key factor in proving that, he will be able to handle the shield, will be able to take the mantle. He may just not want to, and that's something else that we'll get into in a second here. So that brings me to this point. I think, with that being said, I think it's clear that we are going to see the Flag Smashers have a direct tie to to the Super Soldier Serum. So the Flag Smashers here, I think we're definitely going to see them have a direct tie to the Super Soldier Serum because first off, that kick was super powerful. You see that kick; it looks reminiscent of a Captain America kick. I mean, if you remember correctly, Captain America used to kick the hell out of people, fling his shield around like that. And these people, the Flag Smashers, at least this man here, is working the way that he did. Um, Right, right, right. Exar Kun, he had the ground to fight Cap, and he didn't with Sam. I mean, I think that was something very telling. But yo, so looking at this kick and looking at the Flag Smashers, I think that's another key element to help prove that Sam is worthy to be Captain America because we see here they have the Super Soldier Serum. I think that's just going to tie in to prove that, if Sam can take down super soldiers without having the serum in him, then he is worthy to be Cap. That's the last time I'm probably going to try to say that. But something else that kind of stood out was interesting to me too. Did anybody else notice how when they were talking about Steve and they were talking about Captain America, they kept referring to him as Steve? One, they didn't clarify whether he was dead or alive. I definitely believe he was alive, and they just kind of used the whole Tony Stark is dead, then Captain America is dead type thing to move it along. So I definitely think that, we are starting to see the process of Marvel, which is very hard to do. They understand the task that they have ahead of them is that Chris Evans was a staple character in Marvel, in the MCU. So they have a task in these 6 episodes to make these fans feel like um, to make these fans feel like Sam is worthy to be the Captain America, and not just that, but to make them feel like he is the new Captain America. That's what they have to make us feel like coming out of this series. So with these points, like with these pieces here, just in the first episode, like I said, the first episode lays the foundation of the series. That's the first foundation for me here is that, yeah, Winter Soldier is going to be here and he's going to be buddy cop type thing. But it's kind of like a WandaVision type of situation to where Wanda was kind of the main point. Her character development was kind of the main point here. Even though we got Vision's character development with White Vision coming out, um, Wanda was the main point of that. And I think that Falcon is definitely the main point of this here to get the shield. Alrighty, so with that being said, our next point here is really why doesn't Sam want the shield? We see it in the talk. I think he's given those looks there at the I think he's given those looks there in the opening scene. He doesn't want the shield, and you got to wonder why. My early guesses as to why he doesn't want the shield. Hmm, Really, I just don't. I think it's the weight of having the shield that he doesn't want to deal with at this point. Uh, as he was saying, it's more than just about being Captain America. It's about the person who is Captain America. It's more than just about the icon and the logo. It's about who makes that up. And when he's saying we need new folks, we need new superheroes, I don't think I don't think that he feels like he is worthy of that mental mindset yet, or to be he's worthy to take Steve's place in that regard because he regards Steve so highly, man, and that makes sense. Steve was like a mentor figure to him in this whole superhero lane, and like a big brother to him. If something happens to someone's big brother, and they feel like they have to take the shoes of that, that's something that some folks may not want to do, and that may not push them to do that. So I just think that here it's a it's not so much of a physical thing that he doesn't feel like he could physically be Captain America, but I think it's more so of a I don't want to bear this weight on my shoulders type deal when it comes to becoming the new Captain America. Now, I could be completely 100% wrong here. We could get a flashback scene a few episodes from now, which, hey, I would be completely fine with, and I think it'd be completely dope as well. We could get a flashback scene to where they're telling him, yo, Sam, if you want to be Captain America, you have to take this super soldier serum. And he doesn't take it and he doesn't want to put it in his body. And I think that's a possibility that we could see later. That's why he turned it down at the beginning. But right now, it just seems to be that he doesn't want to move forward with the serum here. So let me check the chat before I get into the next. Before I get into my next point, XR Coon hit me with the. I can honestly see Sam take the shield and Torres getting the wings, dude. I would love that. I would love to see both of them in the wings. I think that make an interesting combo and tag team in the movies. No, can you? All right, look. Can you imagine the? Could you imagine the shield being thrown back and forth in the air between Sam and Torres? Like I think that would just be a cool, interesting dynamic to see there if he's his sidekick. I would love to see that. But I mean, I definitely think that, I think that we are going to get a shield for Sam, whether it's that Captain. I think it is going to be the Captain America shield. I would like to see it back in action because it's so iconic. Um, but so I think we're definitely going to get the shield back, man, because I feel like the whole, like I said, premise of this is him living up to Steve's legacy, the challenge that Steve put on him. Um, And Steve obviously saw it in him to give him the shield. That's no small deal, and Sam recognizes it. So I definitely think that we're going to see Sam take the shield back. There's no doubt about that in my mind, that we're going to see him take the shield and keep the shield in my mind. And I just really want to see some of those cool. Can you imagine Sam throwing the shield, dude? He's flying in the air, and then all of a sudden he throws his shield down from like 50 feet in the air and just knocks somebody smooth out. Like, dude, the visuals of that would be so dope. See, I'm looking forward to seeing Sam getting the shield back, and I don't know how much of the in the air shield combo we're going to get this season, but when we get it, whether it's in the movie, the next movie that we get it in, when we get it, dude, it is going to be completely awesome, man. Alrighty, so we had that there for my second point in the show. Now I want to get to Bucky. Bucky was how to say this? Bucky was, like I said, he was kind of treated like a side character in this episode, but every piece of Bucky was very important. So, like I said, Bucky is at the therapist, getting some therapy done, like he should be. To be honest, like, dude, this dude is out here in the public, and he's been manipulated in the past. He's like been a killer to be. He's been manipulated to be a killer, mind washed. This guy definitely needs some therapy, dude. And I'm just glad that he's there in therapy because like I said, he definitely needs it. And I'm not gonna harp on that any longer. My man definitely needs it. A lot of people need it. I mean, it's not like a knock on him, but if there's a poster child for you need therapy, it is definitely Bucky. Um, but yeah, Bucky's in therapy, and we see pretty quickly that he's going through this thing of making amends of some of the things that he's done in the past. He had that nightmare of going in there, killing all those folks, and then killing a dude trying to get into a door. That was very hard to watch because you can just in the MCU, if you're a realist and you imagine yourselves in certain roles, I don't imagine myself as somebody who's going to be getting in fights with the Winter Soldier. I imagine myself being the person that's trying to get into the door, and then the Winter Soldier just kills. So I connected with that moment and to why sad and to how sad it was because he had nothing to do with it there. So the that weight is weighing in on Bucky, and I think it's dope as a character that he can remember the things that he did as the Winter Soldier and that he still wrestles with it now. So making amends, I feel like is what's going to drive Bucky in this episode as well. That he feels like he's free to, like she said, like she mentioned, dude, you're free. You're at the one time where you are not under subjection. Like really, for one of the first times in his adult life, he is not under the subjection of anybody else's will. He is not a soldier. He is not an assassin. He is free. So he has to deal with making these decisions, and I think this time has given him time to have some of that horror come back to him of what he did as the Winter Soldier. So when we're talking about him talking to the Japanese man, when he's talking to him, and I really feel like that is definitely one of the harder ones to make because it was one of the innocents. It was one of the innocent victims that he took out. And sometimes where we see things where somebody gets too deep, well, honestly, this shows his humanity because he cannot really stomach the pain of telling him what he did. Um, and to me, that's deep. And I don't know if we're going to see that. I mean, maybe we'll see. Then I definitely feel like he's going to make amends with that man. Whether that man will forgive him or not, I don't know. Because, like I said, it's an interesting time. If you started off, if you meet this person once, maybe even twice, and started off like that, and then you drop it on them, maybe a little easier. But he's digging himself in a much larger hole, waiting to tell him because he's just developing a relationship with this man, and he's just digging himself a hole. I am kind of curious though. Help me out. Help me out, Mike and XR. Help me out. How does nobody seem to know who the Winter Soldier is? How does nobody seem to be recognizing this dude? Honestly, like his face was all over the place when he was accused of killing the King T'Chaka. His face was all over the place. Like, so dude, like, how do you not recognize Bucky right now? I mean, I know he got his hair cut, but even when he had his little wanted picture sent out there, he's got a cap on. I might. It was really deep. It was a really deep episode of you. It really was, Mike. But just how are we not recognizing Bucky in the public? Maybe so much stuff is going on over the last 5 years that people just really just like forget it. Like, I got other things to worry about than thinking about this dude being the Winter Soldier. But like how can you have drinks? How can you look at a man and not recognize him being an assassin or somebody who was wanted on a national level that had all the Avengers looking after him? How does that how does he just dissipate from people's minds? Maybe I'm crazy, maybe that's just me looking too far into the episode. But I thought that was kind of a little bit of a funny point. Now, last thing on Bucky. So once upon a time, I was a brainwashed assassin, and your son. That's yeah. I think that might have to be how it goes down. XR Coon, like it goes a little bit like this. So look, one time I was an assassin and I was brainwashed. I killed a lot of people. I killed Tony Stark. Tony Stark killed his parents. I killed a couple. I killed a president. I killed some scientists. I thought I killed Nick Fury one time, but Nick Fury is a harder method to kill. And one time I was killing a bunch of people with knives in a very cool fashion, and your son just happened to walk in at the wrong time, and I had to kill your son too. That might have to be how it goes. I'm not the best actor, but no. Yeah, like you said, he was an international threat, so he's got to be on the radar of a lot of people. Um, the last point on Bucky here is how the therapist says you haven't talked to anybody. He hasn't talked to Sam. I think that's just a clear indication that Sam had conversations with Bucky before. He's definitely going to confide Bucky before giving away the shield. I don't think there's any way that Sam does that. I don't think there's any way that Sam does that comfortably without talking to Bucky. So I think that's what causes a rift there is Bucky. It's Sam looking to give up the shield, and Bucky's like, "No, dude, you can't do it. You know what that shield means to you. You know what it meant to Steve." I think that's part of why Bucky is pissed off at Steve, and I think there's some evidence there. So, like I said, we got Steve, we got Bucky, and when it comes to Bucky and Steve moving forward, I definitely think that Bucky is going to come meet up with Steve to help on that mission with the Flag Smashers. Whether he's forced, I don't think he's going to be forced to do it because part of his pardon is not to commit any violence. It's a part of his pardon. He's definitely going to be breaking that. He's definitely going to be breaking the conditions of that pardon. And honestly, this just came to me. What if doing the thing that he is doing is part of an amends that he has on his list? So look, if he has to make if his main goal here is to make amends and to cross things off the book, and he's doing whatever he has to do it. So he did break the rules to make amends. He did do some illegal things. He did punch a dude in the face. What if part of making his amends will be helping Sam with the Flag Smashers? Because somehow whatever he was doing helped the Flag Smashers exist. Okay, just follow me there. Which somehow whatever he was doing helped the Flag Smashers exist, helped them be as strong as they are. So he has to go make amends with Sam reluctantly to stop the Flag Smashers from whatever they're doing, to kind of wipe them off of existence, whatever the goal is. That just came to me here. I didn't have too much time to expand on that, but that I think that would be dope. A dope way to bring them two in together and to reconnect them in a reluctant fashion. All right. So the next thing I want to get into is the Flag Smashers. The Flag Smashers, I think they were brought in a pretty dope way. We still don't really know a lot about them, but from the looks of it, they look like what you would think an organization would like that would be. I mean, I really hope that this episode didn't give anybody an idea, any ideas. But all in all, oh, dude, my fault. I really hope that didn't give them any ideas. But all in all, yeah, the Flag Smashers are one, like mentioned earlier. Um, I think they are super soldier serumed. I think they got in the shot. I definitely think that they are enhanced and can duke it out with the best of them. Um, that's just what we're going to see in the episode. And like I said, I think it's going to be a huge part of Falcon proving himself as Captain America. So look, first off, when we're talking about the Flag Smashers, it's important to remember what Torres said about them when they were introduced to us. He talked about the 5 years and how some groups liked the way things were and some groups didn't. So first off, I think that talks about how grounded we are going to be in this series. I think we're going to get a look at how the world is and how the world has evolved since these 5 years happened and how the world is reacting to everybody come back. So 5 years is a long time. Losing someone close to you may take longer than 5 years, but being able to move on and adjust into life, living with your grief, that is something that could definitely happen in that 5 year period. And for everybody to have these folks come back, for everybody to have jobs, um, that's going to turn some things on its head. So the Flag Smashers, I feel like, were definitely a group that took advantage of the absence of people over these 5 years. Now, the 5 year thing is interesting because when we watch Avengers Endgame, they make it seem like the world was standing still. They made it feel like the world wasn't like they met one those Avengers councils that they were having. It was like we've checked off everything. There's nothing really to address. So it made it seem like nothing was really going on in the world, which is interesting because now it doesn't feel like that. When we hear Hayward talk about in WandaVision about his response to what's going on in the world and how Sword changed their mindset in the world, and then when we look at what he just talked about, how some people took advantage of it and how some people love how the world was before everybody snapped back, we are getting an insight in that 5 years that I think that we kind of misled to believe in Avengers Endgame. I think we'll definitely see some more things shook down in those 5 years. I'm not really willing to go into how much we're going to see in this series. I'm not sure we're going to go back and see it in another series. Maybe Shang-Chi would be based in the 5 years, inside that 5 year gap. But when it comes to the Flag Smashers, I definitely think that they are a group that, one, has the super soldier serum, and two, love the way things were over those 5 year periods where maybe government was not as strict as it was, where it was maybe more of a world government. And to be honest, I'm newsflash, I'm a news reporter in the real world, but I'm not that familiar with how tight we are with Libya right now. But when we look at how kind of uptight they were about flying into different airspaces, that could just be a slight indicator of these countries maybe putting up their barriers, maybe putting up their shields and not really having too much of an alliance there. So you think Flag Smashers could be Hydra affiliated? Could be, dude. Like, it could be that Hydra is working in the background or some form of Hydra. Like, so you know how we got Sword, uh, and that kind of feels a little bit like Shield. it could be interesting to see if Hydra is has their own like kind of offshoot version that could be funneling things uh into the Flag Smashers. That could be dope. And Hydra could have very well given the Flag Smashers the serum themselves. So that's a good idea, XR. Um, See, like I said, I think the Flag Smashers were really just, I think my main point, honestly, I think they may just be their own individual organization that came up. Maybe they are funded by a big bad, but one is dope because they're very interesting to see how it was kind of new. It was like a new style, a new flavor, kind of realistic vibe of how they form these mass mobs and make these hits and do these things as a group, as these orchestrated plans. There's not really there's a lot of loose threads. Like if you're somebody just walking up, you're not going to know who the main people are in charge. That's just how it is. It's not like a club where you go and earn your rank. It just seems like they have these people at the top, these ground people at the top, the woman with the curly hair, the dude who jumped out of the window. Those are the ground top levels that we're going to see. I think there might be another big bat above there, but everybody else seems to just be followers, people who believe in their mission and are willing to do, who want to benefit from that. And I think it's just dope how they use the technology, it's geocoding to set that up. And I'm just excited to see how this comes together. I think that we are going to see Sam, Bucky fight them, and maybe U.S. Agent have a role to do in it as well. I'm not sure how much U.S. Agent is going to really be fighting against them, or Captain America, should I say, be fighting against them. But I think at one point all three may be fighting against the Flag Smashers until they break apart pretty early in the series of them working together. So last but not least, how can I say talk about this dude without sounding like a straight up bully? But this dude right here, ugh, I hate sharing the same screen as this man. This guy, this guy. So, like I said, I don't want to sound like a bully, but there's a good friend of mine who talks about this thing called punch face, and it's somebody who has a face that you really just they're like smug, they're cocky, they got the attitude, whatever it is about their face and their mannerism, you just want to. That's this guy. That's this guy right here. Dude, his face like pisses me off in that it pisses me off in that outfit. And that just really goes to show that Marvel has not lost a step in casting. I want to run it back to Iron Man 3, Justin Hammer. Justin Hammer is annoying, despicable. I hate seeing Justin Hammer's face. But that's how he's supposed to make you feel. That's why they casted him because he knew like they knew that that's what invoked that feeling of that guy. So, dude, like this is exactly what invoked. I said it, but I thought it, and my wife said it when later today. And seeing this guy's Ryan Russell, I'm pretty sure I'm not that familiar with his work as an actor. Pretty sure he's a cool dude, but he kind of gives me some Homelander. One, he gives me Homelander vibes. He does look like the Man in Up. All those gifts, all those memes that I've seen of him looking like you can replace him. Like you can replace Wyatt Russell with the up animated up dude, and it'd be just as dope. You wouldn't lose a step because he looks just like the dude from Up. You're spot on with that, Mike, man. Like he looks just like the dude from Up. There's no doubt about that. But so yo, when we're looking at this dude, like, okay, what does it get to? He gives me a little bit of Homelander vibes. Like, I'm a skeptical dude. Like I said, I work for the news and everything, so I watch a lot of stuff. And politicians, I'm very skeptical. I have a very quick judgment button on politicians. Like, if I feel like I see a fake smile, if I feel like I see a lie that you're telling out, I have a quick judgment on you, and it's very hard to get that off. This guy right here, this man right here, Captain America, I just don't like him, dude. Like, I see all these things talking about not my cap, not my cap. Yeah, that's nobody's cap because we all know that this dude is shady. Nobody likes him. Now, how he got the shield to me is some trickery because they were acting like they were happy. First off, Sam was acting confused as to why he does give off Homelander vibes. Yes, as Sarkoon, like the Homelander vibes are there. Like I know he's not nearly as powerful as Homelander, but dude, I don't like the vibes that just bad vibes, man. But what I was getting to was just I don't like how it seemed as if the DOD guy when Sam was giving that speech was seeming as if that shield was going to be sitting in that case for the rest of eternity. Like it seemed like he was saying, "Thank you, Sam, for giving up this shield. We really love to have it here at the Smithsonian. This is where it belongs. Nobody else is going to have the shield. It might as well be buried with Captain America wherever he's buried at up in the moon, whatever." That's what it seemed like that DOD guy was doing. Now, Rhodey's vibes, on the other hand, gave me different vibes as far as how he felt about Sam giving up the shield. But the DOD guy seemed dirty because one, it seemed like he was talking about he is Kurt Russell's son. I didn't want to go out on a limb and say that he's Kurt Russell's son, but it's cool. But I did want to. It seemed weird because the DOD guy was talking about giving it up, and then he just comes back the next day and has Sam. Has U.S. agent with the shield. Like, dude, like, what kind of BS? First off, I'm saying you saw Sam was pissed, and you damn right Sam is pissed because, dude, you just gave it up. You just gave it up to this guy. Like, I just gave you my shield, thinking that it's going to be set here for the rest of eternity in the museum, and then I turn on the TV, and without you even telling me, you're giving it to another person. So first off, you can see how that makes Sam feel. I mean, anyway, if you see somebody, even if you break up with your girl and she's not your old girl, when you see her with another dude, you obviously gonna feel some type of way about it. So when Sam gave that shit away, he's obviously gonna feel some type of way about it, no matter who has the shield. But you also gotta feel like dang, like Sam might feel like, yo, am I not good enough? Like, do they not see something in me to be like, yo, we want you to keep the shield? Because one, it seems like, yo, Sam's giving up the shield, and he might be having an impression like, who knows? They might have told him like, yeah, good, like that's what we wanted to do. You know, we don't really think Captain America should be a going moniker. We think it should rest with Steve. Who knows what they told him whenever he told them they would be giving up the shield? Like I said, they made it seem like that's what they wanted to do. So yeah, this dude is very shady, and it's clear. Like I said, this episode sets up the premise of the next ones, and it's clear that uh, that this guy John Walker is going to be a bad guy. There's no doubt about it. I think there are going to be some times where they're fighting on the same side. That Sam and Bucky may be fighting on the same side, but this dude is definitely a bad guy, dude. Like, there's no doubt about it. Just look at him. I just want. I just want. I don't condone violence, but last thing I want to touch on, then we'll get into a little discussion here. Last thing I want to touch on. Do you think he has a super soldier serum here? Because like it's interesting because we may get a backstory on him and how he gets into the shield and how he gets into this role. But I'm just kind of interested and curious to know if he has a super soldier serum. Um, I think he obviously is. If he doesn't have it, I think he's going to get it at one point. There were some theories out there, and if you don't like the theories, you know, to close your ears. But there were some theories out there that he may be mind controlled by the serum. Who knows? But I definitely think that I think he has the serum here, and he may be stronger. And you may look at it. Well, if he had the serum, if he was that size and he had the serum, then how big would he have been? Because you think about how big Steve grew when he got the serum. But we all know that it's what is inside of you, it's the good inside of you or whatever that gets amplified. That's what made Steve so successful. So I would put my money on it. I would put my house, my nerd coin, everything on it that this dude got the super soldier serum and it wasn't really all that effective. One, maybe either because he doesn't have that good stuff inside of him, or two, this is just an offshoot version of the serum, something similar to what Bucky has. Is that it's not the full 100% pure serum. It's the mid grade serum that he has in there. It's not the 100% pure. But I'm definitely excited to see what he brings here. For all that I'm saying about how this guy looks in the Shield, one, like I said, I think he was probably directed to smile like that, to have that smile. But I'm not. I feel like this dude is going to kill this role. I'm not too familiar with him. Like I said, my man XR Kun just said, he's Kurt Russell's son. I feel like he's going to do a great job in this role. Some people are made for roles. Justin Hammer was made for that role. Forgot the dude who plays Justin Hammer. Marvel does a great job at casting people who you want to hate, who they want you to hate. They wanted you to hate Obadiah Stane, and they did a good job of casting him. They wanted you to hate Justin Hammer, and they did a great job of casting him. Those villains, not villains that they don't want you to hate. They didn't want you to hate Thanos, and they did a great job of humanizing him. They didn't want to necessarily make you hate Killmonger, and they did a good job of casting him as somebody who could relate to people. But this dude, he looks he looks like, he's no good. He's no good. All right, so let's get back into it. I'm gonna get into some chats here. Drop your questions in the chat. Let me know what you guys think about the first episode. Tell me your theories. What do you think is going to come into the next episode? What do you think about the Flag Smashers? Just let me know. One thing I didn't really touch on here that I really like to get into just for a brief second is the money situation. The money situation is huge. To me, it's a little jacked up that one, you can be an Avenger, save the world, and help bring everybody back, and you know they don't recognize that. Like, you can't even get a small business loan. Like, tell me how jacked up that is. Like, you put your life on the line, and to be honest, it's the same way with soldiers. Soldiers put their lives on the line every day, and you would think they'd be treated with a bit more like, here's everything. Here's what can we do for you? So with Sam, I don't want to say upping that because any sacrifice is an equal sacrifice in my eyes. But when you look at the stakes of bringing back 50% of the entire universe, with Sam wanting a bank loan, one, having to do the little wing thing to make somebody recognize him and then give him the selfies. But like, my man's can't get a loan. Like, you really can't get him a loan. And then another thing is, like, he doesn't have money in his bank account. So I understand, one, he may be in a different position because he was on the run. He was a fugitive. Pretty sure they may have frozen some bank accounts there as he was on the run in between Civil War and um, in between Avengers Endgame. Pretty sure he had some of those, and maybe when he was parting, those accounts were unfrozen and he didn't get paid back. But yo, like, so, and that brings up another point too. Like, was he not getting paid for doing that gig, saving that the Air Forceman out there? I forgot his name. That I forgot the guy that he had to save his name. But did he not get any money from doing that work? Like, is he in the Air Force? Like, is he back enlisted, or is he doing contract work like he said he was doing beforehand, before he blipped away 5 years ago? So you would think he would have got a pretty lofty check off of that work that he did, unless maybe he's working off part of his part. But I feel like if that was the case, they would have said that. But yeah, like, how did he not get paid? I mean, one, I'm just curious as how that arrangement is set up to how he's going to work with the Air Force. I know he was in the Air Force, but working with them, you would think he'd get those DoD dollars and get paid for that job, and to be able to bring that money home and drop it off. So I think the money aspect is very definitely interesting because you can even see Bucky. Bucky may be set up a bit different. He seems to have a bit more strings on him when it comes to being free. Um, Things may be set up from the government to where he has to have as little interaction with people as possible. When you look at his apartment looks very basic um, and everything like that. So I think it's just interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how the money situation develops. So yeah, see, this is definitely on the same timeline as WandaVision. What's good, bro? What's good, my man? C, A1 day one college days. So yeah, this is definitely in the same line as WandaVision. As we saw, like, so WandaVision happened within the first 3 weeks of the snap. 3 weeks after the snap, Wanda went there and started the hex. I would think it's safe to say that might have lasted for about a week or so. It seems like it lasted for about a week or so. And then when it goes from that point, we get into Falcon and the Winter Soldier. this Sam said a few months back. So we are maybe about a month or two outside of WandaVision, which we do see that clip. We do see that clip in there where in one of the trailers where Sam is like, I think it's one of the big three, androids, aliens, androids, or wizards, and I think that's really makes it what makes it bigger is that WandaVision might have happened. Now that does give me some thought as to when Doctor Strange happened, but I do think Doctor Strange may happen after this later on. But yeah, this is definitely in the same timeline. Definitely a couple of weeks or a month or so after WandaVision. But that's what makes it so dope is that it feels like we're kind of on a congruent, a little bit on a congruent timeline here, a little bit. But yeah, XR Coon, bank talks some money, and he had none. He definitely had no money, and like I said, that's just like, dude, he just saved a whole man, like avoided a whole like international conflict, and he's broke right now. That just ain't make sense to me. All I know is I got fellow broke vendors. You do. He would be a broke venture, man. He would be a broke venture. Anyway, Sam said in the Winter Soldier that he had a wingman. Does that mean there is a second pair of wings out there? That is definitely possible. Um, that's definitely possible. I would definitely think that if those were out there, those would have been taken out already. Not sure to what extent they have, but look, something interesting. They did show Sam tinkering on his wingsuit, tinkering on. I think he was tinkering on red wing. So Sam has some insight on what to do with those things, even though he couldn't get his boat to run after he was configuring what to do with his jetpack. Even though he could have gotten his boat to run later. I think there's definitely a different suit out there, and if it's not a suit out there, they can definitely make one for Torres. I just need if they do that, dude. Honestly, they need to establish Torres as someone who can work that suit. I gushed on the last stream about Sam having a type of a supernatural ability, superhuman ability to be able to work that pilot suit. And let's talk about that. Hold up. That's one thing I didn't really get to touch on. The way that Sam used his suit in this series, in this episode, was simply amazing. Like Sam used his suit in so many ways. It was like, yo, what all are we going to get here? So first off, we see the whole. I'm going to start with this one. We see the whole like dodge the bullets type of thing, block the bullets with the wing thing. That looks so much more dope than what it did when he did it in Civil War when he just put up that shield. This looks to be more flexible and more workable around. That was dope. The one thing that stood out to me is how he's using the wings in small range fights to be able to maximize his punch power. So like when we think about the fight that Iron Man was having with Captain America and Bucky, Iron Man was getting the works, and that's mainly because his suit tailors to him to being in an open space fight to being in the air. He's an aerial attack guy. So some of those things that Sam was doing was things that Iron Man did not think about doing in that fight. So, for example, when we see Bucky have to do it's the one right before it's like right after the pilot gets shot and the plane starts to descend. We see Bucky hold the dude and like propel himself into a box and not the dude out. That choreography right there, man. Like even though it's a little fake because you obviously nobody has a wingsuit, that felt so real because it's such a real world application of it. So I heard somebody. It was Darren in Darren's Danger Room last week. How she was talking about the Justice League and how she just didn't want to see punching because that's all it was. And I felt that point. That's something I never really thought about, but I felt that. And when I watched Captain America, when I watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that's something that instantly stood out. Was just the different ways that he was using his suit was ridiculous. Like the jumping and kicking and the suit coming out a little bit and doing all of that. Like it's on. I'm excited to see how he uses his suit. We got a taste of it. I'm excited to see how he uses his suit going forward because to me right now that suit is dope. Somebody said it would be more Stark-esque, and I definitely see that when we're looking at. But I think this is one of the first times, other than maybe an Ant-Man, where we're getting to see inside of the goggle view of what Falcon sees, and I thought that was very dope to get that inside look there. And it does feel more Stark-esque as far as the technology and the projection propulsion and how that's going. Another thing I love seeing was just he's cutthroat. Like, he's blowing up airplanes, he's blowing up helicopters. I was wondering how many helicopters they damn had to keep dropping them helicopters out like that. But yeah, it's very interesting to see how he'll continue to use the suit moving forward. I definitely love that. Red Wing with his updates, yo, Red Wing in itself is something dangerous to deal with. And whew, I'm just very excited for this series moving forward. Like I said, we're definitely going to see some more. Like I said, we're definitely going to see Sam prove himself in this series. In the next episode, I think we're going to learn more about John Walker, or maybe we might get the first interaction between Sam and John Walker. Sam may go out there to respond to the flag smasher incident himself. John Walker may be sent there by the Thunderbolts. I mean, by the DoD. I don't want to say the Thunderbolts yet. That's throwing too much out there. X Raccoon, that's your fault for putting the Thunderbolts in there and putting the Thunderbolts in my brain. But yeah, we may see and I said we may see them meet up, responding to the flag smashers out there. That's definitely something that may go down. But yeah, man, I'm very excited for this next episode. Like I said, if I was to rate this episode, so it's the opening episode. If I was to rate it, I would rate it about an 8. If you wanted to have one of those episodes where it's just all fighting the whole time and you're developing things and then it slows down the second episode, that's cool. I might give you second episode an 8. But this episode was an 8 because, like I said, we got just enough action. Could have been a little more, but I'm satisfied with where we are. Um, that opening scene wowed me. The dialogue was a little. It was the dialogue itself could have hit harder to me, but overall, just what it set up, we know what we're getting into. I feel like it was dope. So I feel like it was a great opening episode. If you're comparing it to other Marvel TV episodes, like the beginning of like Daredevil or what have you, it's definitely a huge step up from that. Definitely loved it more than the first 2 episodes of WandaVision. WandaVision was one of its own. There's nothing to be compared to though. But yeah, this really has me excited for what's next, man, and I love it. All right. Before we get out of here, one last thing I do want to touch on. I mentioned this in the earlier stream. By the way, I am in the dojo, Mike. Thank you. The Normies to Nerd Dojo. This is the dojo where we bring in normies, and I myself, you in the comments, Mike, everybody else. My goal here is to make sure that people who are new to this content can understand and enjoy the content to the maximum ability. I've been watching this stuff. I've been watching comic book stuff since I got into college, starting off with Iron Man. And then I really delved into it when Civil War came out, as far as the comics and the digging into YouTube and things. And that just helped me get so much enjoyment out of the MCU, being able to understand this, to really help me go into the rabbit hole and really find a new passion in comic books. So that is the purpose of Normie to Nerds, is a community where there's no question too simple. There's nothing that's like somebody should be ashamed to ask, because at the end of the day, we here and anybody who's going to be watching in the comments, they are going to be here to help normies become and understand this content. And I love it. I absolutely love this concept of being able to bring folks into the dojo, judgment free zone, almost like Planet Fitness, but we're not $10 a month yet. but but uh but yeah, it's a way for normies to come in and be able to catch up on some of this content. If you have a question, just ask it. It's a good way for people to come in and watch and catch up on the content and be able to enjoy the most of these new shows that are coming out. Because we all know there's no shortage of MCU content that's going to be dropping here. I'm a normie to Star Wars, getting into that, so I'm not going to. I may, do some reaction videos, but I'm not going to step into a lane that I'm not in. Um, when DC figures it out, I am a pretty big DC character fan. I just haven't been big on their movies. So yeah, so this is where we are. This is the dojo, the Normie Dojo, where we're training normies to be nerds. And yeah, like I said, this dojo has only been open for 2 weeks, and I love the amount of people. Thanks to supporters like you, Mike, and X Raccoon, and my man Steve, and Trinity as well. The folks who are coming in here and helping getting this out. I love it. I love the community that's being built here. already. So yeah. But anyway, before I get out of here, I just wanted to give you guys an update on my trek through Justice League, the Snyder Cut. All right, so in the first part, I think when I did my stream on Thursday night, I was like, yeah, I watched like the first half of it. The first part, and I really wasn't that big on it. It was an upgrade. The part that really got me into the Snyder Cut has been the Cyborg development. Knowing more about Cyborg, I felt more connected to him. And there was a point watching Cyborg in that scene to where I felt a huge connection because it's like it's not because of what I felt in the movie, but it's because like, yo, so this is this cyborg. And watching Doom Patrol, I love that cyborg in Doom Patrol. Like I absolutely love the cyborg in Doom Patrol. When Ray Fisher was going through his stuff, I was kind of low key hoping that he may get some type of role play in the main DC stuff. But this is where it could come in. Like I kind of fell in love with the idea. Okay, so this is his backstory. Victor over there in Doom Patrol, he has his backstory. So I love how everything just links together. Thanks, Mike, for sharing it on Twitter, by the way. So I just love how everything just like links together in in a way that it's not linking together, but I can feel more. So like the reason why I felt so connected to this cyborg is because I'm a huge cyborg fan in Doom Patrol. So I think that's an element that Warner Brothers. I'm not sure if I'm the only one who feels that way, but I think that may be an element that Warner Brothers really needs to just pick up on. It's like, yo, this multiverse way is made to make it work. I didn't connect with the previous any of the previous characters because I connected a little with Batman and Superman because I felt their movies. I like Batman versus Superman. But for the other characters, I hadn't seen their movies yet, so I didn't like who are these guys? Why should I like? I didn't connect with them. So that's one thing into where yo, this is much better. So like I said on Thursday, I'm the type of guy that will fall asleep during a movie. So I can it's hard for me to sit there and watch a whole 4 hour movie of it's hard for me to sit there and watch a whole 4 hour movie of the Snyder Cut. So right now I think I'm not at part four yet. I'm not at part four yet, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I have family down here this weekend. Been mad busy. Had to do some yard work, so I'm going to watch some more of that tonight. I'm not sure if I'll finish it tonight. Like I said, I can fall asleep during the movie. It doesn't matter what I'm watching. I might fall asleep if I'm watching it. This is me, but yeah. So far, I've, it's a huge upgrade. Now, is it Marvel level? To me, no. And I don't really want to compare it to Marvel because it's not the same style. But when we're talking about styles here, if I'm looking at enjoyment, I enjoy the boys a little better than the Snyder Cut. Um, maybe not Umbrella Academy. So when I'm looking at Umbrella Academy, maybe not that as much as Snyder Cut. But that's no knock on Snyder Cut. Snyder Cut has been pretty good. It's been pretty good. I'll give it that. Um, Now I am curious because I feel like everything that I'm watching, I'm kind of weighing up against. So anytime that I see a scene that I saw in the cut that came out, the theatrical cut, it just brings it back to me like this is what's going on. Um, but but yeah, it's better. Like I would definitely give it one. It's better. It was something that they should have released in the first place. Now, granted, I don't know of how much of me liking this so much relates to how terrible the theatrical cut was. Like, let's just be real. Like, that's something that we cannot. That's an experience that we cannot just erase from our mind. The theatrical cut is going to be there. That's something that we're going to think about. So, how much of that is, if say this movie came out on its own, say it dropped the same way in the same exact time frame. So, think about the movies that we got after Justice League. Let's say that the Zack Snyder version dropped in that gap. I'm not sure if I would have liked it as much. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not sure if I would still be feeling the same way that I feel about it now. Because now I do know Aquaman a bit better. I do like that. Now at this point, I have watched Doom Patrol and I have that connection with Cyborg. You know what I mean? So it's like some things do make it a bit different, of a bit different of viewing experience. But at the end of the day, I'm a huge fan of it. One other thing, and then I'm gonna get out, let this point go. The dude, the Flash. Here's my issue. The Flash is I think we're seeing here it's very, very hard to do the Flash in a very correct way. And I'm gonna put it this way: I'm not a huge. The one thing that turned me off in the first part of the movie was the slow motion fight scene. So like when the Amazons were fighting Steppenwolf, he was like they were fighting in slow motion. And to me, like those scenes just drag out, and it's like, oh my god, can we just get to it? So like that's one thing. So this movie, that is one thing stylistically that's hurting it for me. Is just like the style. I'm not a huge. It seems like almost everything is in slow motion. So like when I'm watching the Cyborg football scene, it was cool. I was feeling Cyborg, digging into it, and then it goes into the football scene and everything's in slow motion, and it doesn't need to be. And I'm like, can we just get to it, man? But like I said, that's his style. So when it comes to Flash, a lot of his stuff is in slow motion. And I get it. He's a speedster, faster than the speed of lightning, whatever. But you're doing almost every scene in slow motion. Like that slow motion is really like, yo, like it drags it on. Like this a 4 hour movie. Maybe could have been 3 hours and 30 minutes if the slow if it wasn't as much slow motion. Not get slow motion. Like the first time we see Flash, we need to see that slow motion. But I think that Fox X Men did the best with the speedster. I'm a huge fan of the Flash on CW. I used to be. I used to watch every episode that came out on that until about maybe season four. Um, I love the way they do it on there. They do the slow motion on moments of impact, moments where you need to see the slow motion. Here, I feel like it was just a lot of slow motion to where Barry is just running. So, just for one example, like I said, I'm not all the way through the movie. I'm not going to be too critical. But in slow motion where Barry is like running and he catches the sword for Diana, that could have been chopped down to where Barry just slows down right at the sword. I don't need to see the moment that Barry sees the sword, goes in slow motion, and you zap, and then he's in slow motion again, and you zap, and he's in slow motion again. That's just me. But other than that, like the story in itself is so much better. I understand it a bit more. I'm still a bit shaky. Like I said, it may come together. I may just be jumping the gun. But so far, like I said, I'm in like part 3.5, and I love it. I just absolutely love the way that he's put this story together, fleshed it out. I really, like I said, I'm not sure how I would have felt about it if it came out and we never saw Justice League. The reception may be different, but yeah, it's definitely a step up. I think it's something they can build on. If you're looking at it from a standpoint of the first Avengers movie, this may be something interesting to look at it as. Like, as all right, let's compare this. This is technically like the Avengers. Let's compare this to the first Avengers movie. It may be on par. I'm not a huge fan of the Avengers movie. It may be on par. So let's just give him. I say it's good enough to give Zack Snyder some more movies or some more series or to expand his characters and universe. I definitely think that it's good enough to do that. Um, so yeah, I'm next week when we do a stream, we're gonna do a stream Wednesday night. Unless something pops up with my fam, we're gonna do a stream Wednesday night at 9, and put that out there so we can talk about it. I'm definitely gonna share some of my thoughts that by then I should be finished with the Snyderverse. So I'm gonna share my thoughts on that then, and then also I'm gonna give you guys a preview of what I think is gonna happen on the episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 2. All right, so let me check these comments on the Justice. Yeah, XR Kun. I'm a DC fan. So look, I am a DC fan. I think the problem with DC is that their characters are just too OP. Like if their main characters at least. So like when you look at Marvel, so Marvel's comics before the movies came out, my biggest, at least to me as somebody who was a normie who just grew up on Saturday cartoons, maybe catch a movie or so, the biggest ones were the Fantastic Four. You had the X-Men, and you had Spider-Man and the Hulk. Those were the biggest ones before the MCU took off. You compare those to the biggest characters in DC: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, um, the Flash, the Joker. Outside of the Joker and Batman, I feel like you're looking at Green Lantern, you're looking at Aquaman. I feel like those superheroes are just too OP. Like DC superheroes, that's I think that's one reason I'm a huge fan of DC content outside of the movies, like the animation and everything. I've been a huge fan of that. But when it comes to the movies and making things resonate with people in theaters, it's just the fact that it's a hard story to sell because these characters are so OP that it's like, how do you top it? You know what I mean? Like these characters are just so OP. Like how do you go forward with it? Like Darkseid is just so OP. He's more OP than Thanos. And like, how are you just going to go forward with it? So yeah, I mean, I can see why you say you're not that much of a fan of at least the characters, but yeah, to me, it's like I like the characters. I like watching them in the animated stuff, but they just had to find more of a way to maybe they should take a page out of the Thor book and depower Thor like they depowered Thor a little bit. Maybe they should depower some of their superheroes a little bit um, to make it more of a humanistic view. I think that maybe what they were going for in Wonder Woman 2 a little bit, but they didn't focus enough on her losing her powers and having to fight through that. Um, so yeah, I can see what you're saying there. Mike Porter, I'm mad at WB from dropping the ball. We should have gotten this from the beginning. That is facts. That is absolute facts. We definitely, like I said, I think we should have gotten this from the beginning. But on the other hand, would it have been received? Let's be honest. Would this have been received? How much differently would it have been received than the Justice League? How when folks were reacting to it, part of what okay, Justice League was trash. Justice League was really trash. But what amplified that from being trash? If the MCU was not out, if the MCU was not about to peak at that moment, would it have been so trash? If say the MCU was on the quality of Fox X-Men movies, would Justice League have been so trash? I don't think so. Just because the bar's been so just been set so high by Marvel. So I'm just not sure how much of a how different the Snyder Cut would have been viewed um, than the Justice League version was viewed if it came out at the same time. But at the end of the day, the story that they have put in here is dope uh, in its actual self. And yeah, if WB looking at those two movies together and WB chose the Justice League version over that, there's some dummies over there. That's terrible. So my problem with Ellen Page with the Umbrella Academy is that Ellen Page can't act. Dude, yeah, but Umbrella Academy is good, man. It's like the Ellen Page thing. Ellen Page isn't. She's always the one that's like getting on your nerves. Like, yo, stop doing this. Like, stop being a baby. I see the trope. Like, she's the one that makes everything blow up. It seems like every time. But I mean, they do a good job of mixing up the characters enough to where Ellen Page is not the main one there. And now, to be honest, I think that she's not the only one there who suffers from troubles with acting. This is kind of troublesome when your best actor on the series is a young dude. I'm not sure how old Five is, but he's a teenager and he's the best actor on there. I'm not sure how old he is in real life though, but just the fact that he's one of the younger ones there and is acting laps around everybody else. Yeah, but Umbrella Academy to me is a really good series. It's one of the ones I look forward to seeing season three into what they expand to there. All right, yeah, way too much slow mo for sure, for sure. She's just a Hollywood check mark. That's facts. Mike Porter, Justice League was a dumpster fire. It still is a dumpster fire. Once a dumpster fire, always a dumpster fire. You can't turn that ship around. Justice League will go down the hill. And the fact that this is doing so, as much as I have to say about the Zack Snyder Justice League, I'm seeing Normies putting on my Facebook about how the Snyder Cut Justice League is fired. So you gotta take that for what it is. It's getting great reviews, and yeah. So the fact that this is happening, Josh Whedon, somebody needs to check on my man. Like I want to see an interview or something from him. Like I need to hear like an okay statement. Like we need to make sure he's okay. Flash doesn't have super speed. He has time in the bottle. Same with Quicksilver. Good point. Good point. He does, and that's how he gets around quickly. That's a good point. But dude, I'm always gonna look at it as super speed. Like it is what it is. If my man can give him one point to the other point, I'm gonna call it super speed. But yeah, that's a good technical point. See, that's why I need some more. That's why we need all the nerds here in the community to explain these things, man. So I appreciate you, XR. We need you here to explain these things to us, to folks, so we can get a good grip on it. He's only only speaks during Bloom's dash. The Snyder Cut would have had a solo Batman, a cyborg movie. Would have also gotten Flash already, possibly a Green Lantern Corps movie, along with the existing Aquaman and Wonder Woman movies getting into Justice League 2. Mike Porter with the chat of the night. Yo, like that is true. A cyborg movie would definitely be great going out. I don't know what he's going to come out of here like, but I feel like we are getting his origin story. I would love to see the next step in that and to see his next growth as a character. So at this point, we would be in like Justice League. We would be deep into maybe Justice League 2, maybe already gotten Justice League 2 if they kept things moving forward. So you're definitely right about that. We definitely would have gotten the Flash already. The Green Lantern Corps movie, I'm looking forward to how they're going to do that, man. Like I'm looking forward to how they're going to bring that together. I did like seeing that old Green Lantern in the opening in one of those old fight scenes. That was dope. I would love to see how they're going to. I like it's one of the things. So it's a little cheesy. I'm going to be interested to see how they do it in live action. But the weapon animation and everything that they did in the animated series, I would love to see how they're going to make that come together um, in the live action. And it's a little cheesy in the animated series, but I liked it. So I'm not sure if they're going to go that cheesy unless Ryan Reynolds would be perfect to come back, and if they do it right to do that, because he can do cheesy and make it work. But the Green Lantern and himself being cheesy, I'm not sure that'll mix in, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how they do Green Lantern because he's one of the more interesting, like I said, one of the more interesting characters to me to how he made his weapons kind of appear in the shape they took. Curious to see how they're going to make that work in the actual live action. When you see the end, you will be mad like me for them dropping the ball. Okay, all right, Mac, I will take your word for it. I'm not going to go against the word of Mike Porter. I had problems with Snyder Cut, but overall, like same Max Arcoon, like so far, like I said, there's some things in there. I'm a Marvel head. Like, I'm not going to debate that fact. But so far, there are some things in there that's like, yo, like this is slow. The style, it's the style. Like I love the gore. Like I love the realness, the ratchetness, the killing. I love that. But it's a slow mo. Like the slow mo is like it's catching me at some points. So yeah, Batman can do anything. Soups has every power. Lantern is a magic soups. MM is every power Soups doesn't have, and Wonder Woman is a feminist Soups. You're right. You're right. But like I said, DC characters. How do I put this? Like I said, DC characters are a little OP, but it's okay. Like it works in their comics. Like Mike said, they have had some great comic runs. Um, but it really works in the animated series. Like I go through. That's what I really got. One of the reasons why I really got HBO Max is to watch the animated series and it works there. Um, the movies too, like the animated movies is what I'm really talking about here. I love the animated movies, and it works in those movies, and you feel the gravity of those moments in the movies. So, so yeah, that's cool. Uh, I like Ellen. Yeah, Mike Porter. I like Ellen Page in the what's it movie Juno. Like, I like her some of her early stuff. She was good in season one. Season two of Umbrella Academy, I wasn't a big fan of Ellen Page, to be honest with you. But that's just me. Like it was just it might not have been her. It may just have been the things that her character was doing. That probably was now I'm thinking about it, that probably is what it is. Like sometimes like you get caught up in characters playing you get caught up in the actors playing the role of a character that's not really that good. And they could be playing the hell out of that character, and that's what makes you not like them. Prime example is Captain Marvel and Brie Larson. People don't like Captain Marvel and Brie Larson because she was so stiff, but that's how she was supposed to be as a character. So like you just got to understand that and take it for what it is. So yeah, that probably is my hang. I'm not that deep on Ellen Page's filmography, but it was just the season two kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. So yeah, that dude, I definitely feel that. I'm not gonna be too hard on Ellen Page. I'm not gonna be too hard on her because it really, when I sit here and think about it, that season two Ellen Page performance just kind of was like, just she did good. It was just the character was just like, yo, like, come on, like, snap out of it. Like, she made dumb moves, and that's one thing I hate seeing characters do is make dumb moves when it's like, dude, it's obvious that this is the right way to go with it. Um, so yeah, five. He's only 15. I thought so. I thought he was pretty young, but you know how sometimes those actors can look really young and end up being like 26, 27, and they're playing a high schooler. So I didn't want to go out there and say it out off the rip that he was that young, but he's the dopest. To me, he's putting in the best performance on that show. Um, he's putting in the best performance there, and yeah, it's just cool to see the youngest one there, uh, showing the most chops in it. I don't like Josh's stuff. He's he's just one notes everything. I think Zach fits well with DC. I think he does too. Um, some folks are talking about him coming to the MCU. I think they can find a great fit for the MCU. I think they could find a great fit for him in the MCU because the MCU is going to be so broad. We're going to get so many things on different spectrums. Like I loved Ip Man movies. I love the Jet Li movies coming up as a kid. Um, so watching those movies has me very excited for Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi might be my most favorite movie of the year. Favorite Marvel content piece of the year, really. And right behind it might be Falcon and the Winter Soldier, just because of the type of fighting we get. But when we look at, when Loki comes out, Loki might be the top for some other folks because it's just a different type of genre. And I think that's one thing that's beautiful about the MCU is that we're getting into so much stuff that if there was something project that Zach wanted to get, that they wanted to give Zach, I feel like they could find a perfect fit for him. DC used to stick to one all villain characters because those are the only DC characters I care about. All right, man. All right, sorry. Cool. All right, I love Captain Marvel. It just, dude, I'm just saying, Captain Marvel gets better for me every time I see it. Actually, I don't mind going back and rewatching it. My wife, so I turned her into a bit of a nerd. She's not like as connective and as deep and in thought into it as me, but if you start talking to my wife about these movies, she will be able to like post some of her own thoughts on it and touching them all. She's seen all the movies, and I think that's dope. So So yeah, Captain Marvel is one of those movies that we go back and rewatch from time to time. She's not that big on rewatching Captain Marvel, but I am because it's just you get to see so many of the Easter eggs, and now understanding, taking in the thought that she is taking in the thought that she was brainwashed and that's why she was acting that way. That makes that movie even so much better for me. So yeah, Captain Marvel is not the worst movie that was made by MCU. It's not the best, but it's like mid tier to me, man. It's mid tier. Nah, Luther's acting was good. Um, Luther's acting was definitely good in the series. Don't forget the Eternals. So yo, Moon Knight. So Moon Knight is going to be so gritty that I'm going to definitely be looking out for that. I don't think it's coming out. Is it coming out this year? I don't think it's coming out this year. But Moon Knight is definitely going to be one of those shows that's on another level. Um, the fighting and the philosophy in it, I feel like, yeah, it's in 2022. Yeah, that's what I thought. So Moon Knight is going to be on my list next year for sure, for sure. But yeah, let's looking forward to Moon Knight because one, it's just when we're talking about the type of character that Mark Spector is, and when we're talking about Captain America: Winter Soldier, to me, the fighting style and the intrigue style of things that were going on, I feel like we're going to get a lot of that um, with Moon Knight, and I can honestly see, with his split personalities, we're going to get some things to wonder what's going on. That's just, I think, the mind trickery that's going to go on in Moon Knight, along with the action, is going to make it a masterpiece, something that's going to win awards. I definitely feel like it's going to win awards. There's maybe their award-winning show next year. And like a little side note, like WandaVision to me, I feel like it's going to be one of those shows they're going to try to get an award for. Loki may get an award as well, even though I don't think it may be intended for that. Then they may get an award for Loki. Um, Comes to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, even though it's going to be a fan favorite, I don't think it's going to be one of those award-winning series, if that makes sense. So looking to next year, I think Moon Knight is going to be one of those that's going to be like a trippy, like figure this out, thriller type of action thing that's going to make a beautiful piece to come out in maybe an Emmy or something. Don't forget Spider-Man 3. Yeah, Spider-Man. All right, Spider-Man got a little bit of work to bring itself up. To be honestly, I love Mysterio. I love Spider-Man Far From Home, but at the same time, like I just gotta say, Spider-Man better bring it in this next movie. I'm not too sold on the rumors. I love all the rumors that I hear about it, but it's just like, is it happening? Is it not? All I'm saying is Spider-Man better bring it in this movie, man. Awards don't matter to Disney. They can pay for awards. True, but they matter to actors. Believe that they matter to actors, and what matters to Disney is money. And if Disney starts churning out these MCU movies and they turn them into and if Disney starts turning out these MCU movies and they turn MCU movies and shows and they turn them into award winners, that make them that make an easier path to bring in some of these high case actors for lower costs. Um, so yeah, I think they definitely care about getting some awards. Like it's new because the superhero genre is so new that the explosion of the superhero genre is so new that we folks haven't gotten adjusted to put them into award categories. But one, I don't think we're that far off. It may be maybe a few more years. If DC takes say DC takes off with their content, Amazon continues to do their superhero stuff, Netflix continues to do their superhero shows and movies and stuff. We're going to get a superhero genre categories in these award shows, and I think it's long overdue to get that. Um, but yeah, I definitely think that we're not that far off from getting a superhero genre category. Like to me, that's just you got action categories, you got drama categories, but all these superhero films seem to touch into each one of those a little bit. But yeah, we superhero films definitely need their own award show category. That's way off topic. Don't forget Eternals. Yeah, Eternals is going to be Eternals is going to be changing too. So Eternals might be one of those award aiming movies as well to get an award on the movie side of things. I think Eternal very well is set up to do that and to be in that frame of mind and mindset. I do. And then lastly, cut it off here before I get out of here. Loki. Loki is going to be great. Like out of all of those trailers, Loki was the one that got me the most hype. Um, Granted, I've been wrong from trailers before, but nah, Loki watching that is going to be a mind fuck. So like that's what these shows are about now, man. Like the best shows on television, whether it was Watchmen, because it took me a minute to realize what's going on with Watchmen back in the day, whether it's a Lovecraft Country, whether it's Raised by Wolves, and then whether it's WandaVision, regardless of what you think about the last episode, these series are these series that are running your mind. So these theories that are making you think about what's going on, these are the series that are popping out and that are doing damage out here, that are really making things pop and really getting those type of looks. So so yeah. So yeah, I think Loki is going to be one along the line of that. Um, as far as like trying to figure out what is going on, even if it's not in the MCU, even if it's MCU or not. That's one thing I really liked about WandaVision too, because I felt like, say you watched it outside of the MCU, if you come in and we just watch a show and you're watching it and you're like, okay, this dude's not an android. Okay, well this dude is dead, but he's still alive with his wife. Wow, she just made a baby. You get some hints of the devil. That's what's going on. So yeah, I think it's like these and the intrigue in these shows and making these thinking type of shows and make people want to investigate and to think what's going on and to really drive these theories. I think Loki is going to fall right in that line of that. That's why I'm so excited for Loki. But yeah, Eternals is definitely going to be dope. I think Eternals, like I said, is going to win some awards. If there's a movie that's going to win awards in the MCU this year, I think it's going to be Eternals. I might have jumped the gun a little bit in saying that, but I mean, I just feel like that Disney is going to try to win some awards with these things, with some of these projects, and they're going to treat these projects a bit special and make them come out and mind blowing and tell these stories in a different way to address some of these critics and win awards. Like they're gonna. I don't take it slightly when when what's his name Scorsese and all that was coming out and talking about the MCU and stuff. I don't think Kevin Feige took that lightly. I think he took it to heart, and yeah, I think he's gonna show that these superhero movies can be theatrical and tell a story and push things forward. But yo, Yo, Mike, X Raccoon, I could be here all night talking to you guys. I could literally be here all night talking to you guys. So, yo, I got to get out of here. Look, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for subscribing and supporting the channel. To all the viewers who came through earlier, thank you. Folks who are getting to this point on the replay an hour and a half later, you are a real one. Thank you for being here now. So yeah, we're here. Like I said, we're here in the dojo. We're going to be here every time we come here to get our normie training into nerds, or if we're nerds already, to go ahead and brush up on our skills. This is the dojo. Like I said, I'm going to stream on Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. Come back, see here, be here. If I do have a change, I did create an Instagram. Go to Normies to Nerds on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram there. We'll be posting show updates there. Also, some funny memes will go on that page as well to go over there. So make sure you go follow it on Instagram if you're looking. I am going to start a Twitter page as well at some point this week. I'll announce that out on the YouTube channel. So yeah, thank you all for stopping in. As always, as I'm saying here right now, I am King Master Kunch, your Normie Sensei here at the Normies Nerds Dojo. I hope you all have a great day and come back as we take this journey from normies to nerds. All right. So, as always, drop a like and subscribe. And thank you so much for being here for this great and awesome stream. And thank you so much, Mike, for that compliment. I appreciate you guys getting better. You know, next time we come in here, I hope I'm learning OBS a little bit better. So, next time we come in here, I hope to have an opening screen and some music to go along. So, it's not just my little bland voice here to make it more entertaining. But you can't get it. You don't know what you're getting into until you start. So, like I said, this is just the starting process, and I'm excited to be doing this, and it's not a better time to be doing this. So, thank you guys for being the first supporters here. I'll always remember that, and I'll cherish that as this grows and as life goes on. So, look. Anyway, see you guys next time, and like I said, like, subscribe, share, and all that.